Imagine telling so many exaggerations and spreading so much fear-mongering misinformation that the chief scientist of the province has to step in to stop you. If you did, you just imagined NDP leader Rachel Notley's last couple of days in the Alberta legislature. Last week, the Athabasca Chippewa First Nation reported a leak of 670,000 liters of treated water. It's no wonder they haven't measured this in teaspoons, escaping a tailings pond into the Muskeg River. This all happened at Imperial Oil's Kearl oil sands site near Fort McMurray, Alberta. The First Nation reported 140 milligrams of suspended solids per liter, which is 4 times the legal limit. Of course, environmentalists are claiming that this is poisoning the region and that this is a chronic case of oil and gas companies caring so little about Indigenous people that they would not care if they poisoned the groundwater beneath them. But did you notice something there? I said treated water. And did you notice that I said suspended solids, but I didn't actually say what the suspended solids really were? Well, neither did the First Nation. According to the oil company, this was all just sediment from the soil around an overflow culvert, rain and snow runoff causing mud. And according to the Alberta Energy Regulator, that's the AER, the pond in question collects runoff from areas that are not disturbed by mining. It's a dugout that collects rain, mud, and snow, and also muskeg runoff. So what's really happening here? Well, if you ask Rachel Notley, the leader of the NDP, who's gone back to being anti-oil sands, now that she's no longer pretending to care about Alberta jobs after being relegated back to the opposition benches, this is arsenic and other deadly chemicals poisoning the drinking water of First Nations people forever. It's systemic racism via tailings pond toxic runoff. And Notley's demanding an apology from anyone who says anything different. Evidence or testing be damned. Now, Brian Jean, the MLA for the region, tried to explain the difference between a spill of deadly toxic chemicals and mud to the Edmonton-centric MLAs who have a hard time getting off the pavement in their Birkenstocks in the concrete jungle of the capital city.
This particular spill is from muddy water from the surrounding area. It's not part of the tailings pond issue. It's just muddy water, Mr. Speaker. And that muddy water is actually from rain and from snow. They might not be aware of that, but in the north it actually does snow. And Mr. Speaker, that has been stopped. And indeed, water monitoring, air monitoring continues to be done and will be continued to be done in the future.
And Notley, taking a page from former federal Environment Minister Catherine McKenna, thinks the louder you lie, the more people are going to believe you. Remember this?
I actually gave them some real advice. I said that if you actually say it louder, we've learned in the House of Commons, if you repeat it, if you say it louder, if that is your talking point, people will totally believe it.
Oh, there's just something about those urban environmentalists and their unfamiliar relationship with the truth, isn't there? Because here's Rachel Notley getting louder, but definitely not more honest.
The AER says arsenic was in the groundwater on September of 2023. The end. Now, on October 9th, Suncor disclosed an unplanned release of what they claimed was roughly 650,000 litres. But just last week, they reported instead that the amount released was over 15 times that, likely closer to 10 million litres. And it may have been leaking actually for 18 months. Clearly, industry cannot be trusted to police themselves. Will the Premier stop defending the AER, apologize to the impacted communities, and commit to an independent review of the AER?
However, when the monitoring was done, the NDP ended up with mud on their faces. Their lies prompted a press release from the top scientist of the province. Look at this. Drinking Water Safety, Office of the Chief Scientist. Jonathan Thompson, the Chief Scientist of Alberta, issued the following statement on drinking water quality in the lower Athabasca region. Alberta Environment and Protected Areas, that's the EPA, requires that all water treatment plants in the province have certified operators and that the quality of treated drinking water meets the Canadian guidelines for drinking water set by Health Canada. These guidelines are set to ensure that drinking water is safe for human consumption. Drinking water is provided in Fort Chipewyan after treatment by the Regional Municipality of Wood Buffalo Treatment Facility. In response to concerns around the Kearl incident, the Regulatory Assurance Division at EPA has worked with the Regional Municipality of Wood Buffalo to increase the frequency of drinking water quality monitoring to ensure the safety of users. Since March, Fort Chipewyan has been one of the most intensively monitored water treatment facilities in the province. The Regional Municipality of Wood Buffalo has conducted more than 35 enhanced monitoring tests on raw and treated water samples since March, and all treated drinking water samples have met the guidelines for Canadian drinking water quality limits set by Health Canada. Additionally, and I think this is the Rachel Notley sentence they had to add to this press release. Additionally, no exceedances in arsenic have been measured in the drinking water. Lab reports of hydrocarbons and toluene in some samples were determined to be false positives due to lab error. Drinking water quality monitoring results have been posted on the Regional Municipality of Wood Buffalo website, shared with EPA and the communities, and all results indicate that the drinking water is safe. In addition to water quality monitoring to ensure local facilities are treating water to appropriate standards and the quality of drinking water is safe for consumption, EPA also monitors ambient surface water quality. Not only has Rachel Notley been lying over and over again, but the facts debunking her lies were publicly posted for everybody involved to see. Rachel Notley knew, but she didn't care, and she said it louder in case you didn't buy it the first time. It's a bad day to be Rachel Notley, but I think it would be more newsworthy if she actually had a good one. For Rebel News, I'm Sheila Gunn-Reid. Rachel Notley's incessant lies about the oil and gas industry are all part of the global green reset. Demonize life-saving fossil fuels, shift people to unreliable green energy, and then watch people suffer. To sign our petition against the green reset, please go to nogreenreset.com.